All right, guys, what day is it? Wednesday. Here, welcome to our coffee chat. Today, we are going to be talking about food, of course, but we're talking about autoimmune conditions and diseases and the holidays. And we have a fabulous one coming up here in America called the 4th of July or Independence Day. And that can be challenging. Who here with an autoimmune condition or chronic illness is like, ugh, holidays, let me go hide in the corner because they wear me out. I feel like I am, what do I always call it? It's like I feel ashamed because I have to eat certain ways, or I get exhausted, or you really just don't want to participate. Well, let me tell you that you can and you should still participate in these activities, because what fun is life if we can't do some of these things, right? So today I wanted to bring you just a couple of little quick tips that you can do during these holiday seasons. So first things first, please make sure you get a good night's sleep the night before. That's always a big deal, is making sure that you have that good night's sleep. And if you didn't get one, oh well, that happens, right? But that's the key to having a good day, as we know this with our autoimmune conditions and chronic illnesses. Even things like adrenal fatigue, I whip that one in there because that is a condition. So that's the first thing. The second thing is make sure that you have your medications and your supplements sets and you take them on time. I always have an extra sets in my purse because I'm forgetful, as organized as I can be. I am very forgetful on those things, and I'll be like, oh, look, it's, X amount of time. We want to make sure we set ourselves up for success. So I'm big on the night before, again, making sure we have good sleep, setting up my medications and supplements, having them in my purse ready to go, notifying people like my spouse or family members that I have them in there just in case anything happens, right? We want to make sure that we've got that stuff all set up and ready to go. Okay, so those are the things that we definitely want to do. If you are hosting, I love to host. We have a beautiful home here and we have a pool, so we always like to host things like 4th of July. I have to mentally prepare myself, first of all, and then second of all, and then communicate to my spouse, like, hey, it's going to be exhausting for me. So for the next couple days after, I'll probably be worn out, and that's fine. You just have to make people aware of that, okay? But if you're hosting, I always like to do like, hey, I'll cook the meat, I'll cook the main part of it, but everyone else, I'm gonna assign you a dish. So that's the cool part too about hosting and having an autoimmune condition where you have like a lot of food intolerances, you have to eat a specific way. You can say, hey, Billy over here, can you bring some tortilla chips and salsa or guacamole, right? And hey, Susie over here, can you bring a tray of vegetables? And maybe if you wanted to, a dip on the side. Or, so-and-so, bring a thing of fruit. Or can you grab a watermelon at the store? And hey, can you grab like a case of water or some seltzer water? Like, I'm big on seltzer water because that's like the only thing you can have outside of water. Those type of things that keeps you somewhat in control. And it also gives you options and other people options, right? If you have a plate of fruit and you can have everything on there except for maybe the pineapple, cool, you can have everything else. Maybe you can only have the pineapple, right? But it still gives options. Or the same thing with the vegetables. And then with the main dish, you can cook it however you want, and that's kind of how everyone has to eat, right? So for example, like we'll do like burgers, or I like pre-make them beforehand. Another really good idea is when you're hosting is to do a slow cooker. So throw a thing of pork or chicken in the slow cooker and boom, you got some carnitas, right? Throw some spices that you're able to have in there and let it cook in the morning. By the time that people are able to do it in the afternoon, boom, right? Then you've got it ready to go. Very easy, very little stress, right? Maybe make a list for your spouse to go to the store and grab things when you need them, right? Those are the really cool things that you can do when you're hosting. So let's talk about, and when you're hosting as well, again, assign people jobs. Kids love to help, right? I know a lot of times they'll be in the pool, but or they'll be playing around or whatever, but don't let that be like, hey, I'll say like, Ethan, can you help mommy put the plates on the table, right? They're in here. Or, hey, sweetie, can you go ahead and set up the sprinkler out there for the kids? Don't try and do it all yourself. That's where a lot of us struggle, is we want to do it ourselves because we want to show people that we're strong. But at the same time, what happens is we overwhelm ourselves, we stress our bodies out, we stress our minds out, and then we feel guilty, and then we can't enjoy it. Okay, so those are the things that I want you to do if you're hosting. And have fun too. Don't just host and not have fun. So go out there, be with the kids, be with your friends, be with your family, and just enjoy the time when you're at these holidays, okay? And then if you have conditions, like for example, I have vitiligo and like Addison's, I'm supposed to be in the sun, but not really in the sun. But be outside, okay? Get that natural sunlight. Your body needs it. It's refreshing. It's better than being inside, okay? Unless you live in the industrial park, which I hope you don't. So now, if you're not hosting and you're going to someone else's party, ask if you can bring something to eat, right? Say, hey, what are we having? Oh, can I bring a side? So at least you know what they're having. And if you can't have it, say, hey, you know what, that's something I can't have. Is it okay if I just bring a little something else on the side? Or, oh, great, you're bringing burgers. Can I bring bratwurst? Maybe you can't have burgers, or maybe you're like, oh, I don't eat meats and I'm vegan or vegetarian. Can I bring this, right? Hosts are not going to say no. First of all, they're going to say, yeah, bring it along. And then that gives you an option without feeling guilty or like, oh, I'm not eating or something like that, right? Or if it's a side dish, be like, oh yeah, I can bring, maybe a vegetarian like chickpea salad or something like that, right? How cool would that be, right? To be able to bring something and add to it and feel like you're a part of it all, right? Another thing, again, communicate to the host there when you're going. Be like, hey, I may not be incredibly active. I may be a little tired. If you see me do, like, I tend to do this a lot. Like, if you see me kind of sitting there a little, like, not focused, ask me if I've taken my medications and my supplements, or ask me if I need some food to eat or something like that. Ask me if I'm okay, all right? There's no shame in that. And I think a lot of us, what happens is we think that's shameful. We think that's like, oh my gosh, we're being a burden. That's the word I was looking for earlier, burden, right? You're not. Okay, everyone has different situations, different conditions, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to learn how to communicate it and handle it, right? Because if you don't communicate it, then people can't help you in the situation either, right? Just like if you didn't know someone had heart disease, or they had some kind of other issue going on, how would you know how to help them if they were choking? Or how would you know if they were, whatever it may be, right? Let's say they were allergic to something. How would you know, right? So, but people, think about that. People who have a severe allergy, they communicate it, and they have no shame. So just communicate it, okay? So that's some really thing too. Another thing too is I know a lot of these holiday situations are active, or like active, like you're going places, and that could wear you out too. But even if you're sitting for a long period of time, still get up and move. It may be if you have fibromyalgia, or you have rheumatoid arthritis, or you have lupus, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sore. Like, no, that's the last thing I want to think about, Vennessa. You just still get up, move a little bit. Maybe even you're sitting there and you're doing some stretches or something like that. Anything that's really, really helpful. My apologies there. Some kids keep running in. So, there's nothing wrong with communicating that stuff and still enjoying and stretching and moving. I mean, I do all the time. I like reach on the wall and I'll like grab and like stretch, hold up, whatever. Someone looks at you funny, oh well, right? So these are the things that you can do on some of these holiday seasons. If you feel comfortable, get in the pool. That is one of the best things for anyone's body. It's very low impact. Do it, okay? Totally do it. It's okay, all right? If you're going to be like out of town and you don't know the area, grab someone who knows the area and walk around the block or something, okay? Get your body moving. If you are someone who does not have a condition and you know someone who does, support them, help them prep food, help them, get moving their body, help them, maybe set the table, get things ready, sit there maybe with them. If they're not hosting, go sit there with them and say, hey, how can I serve you? How can I help, right? That's one of the things that we speak about in our family all the time. Immune condition or not, how can I help? because it's all about serving other people, isn't it? And we have to, of course, put our mask on first and serve ourselves, but at the same time, it's all about serving other people, right? So, right, these holidays, they're meant to be extremely joyful times, right? I mean, this one coming up here being the 4th of July in America, we're celebrating the independence of America and how incredible the freedom is that we have to do so many things like celebrate and not be, get in trouble for celebrating and whatnot, and share our religious beliefs and all these different things. So, take the time to set the expectations with loved ones. That's really huge. Set that expectations. Plan out your supplements. Make sure you have them in your medications so you're ready to go. So you're not like ending up in the hospital for something that you could have controlled there. And then, setting up the food situation. That's huge. And of course, this is a big one. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated, okay? It's going to be, we're here in Phoenix, and so I think it's 108 today. It's probably be that the rest of the week. But stay hydrated. That's a lot of our brain fog, a lot of our just joint aches and things like that. It comes from not being hydrated with water, please. None of the sodas and things like that. Those are meant to be enjoyed here and there, but not to be the majority of our hydration. Okay, so if you can do those things, you're going to have a beautiful holiday. You're going to have fun. And of course, have a smile on your face. That's really big, is have that smile on your face, because no one likes a little Debbie Downer, right? I know it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you and say that there's times where I'm sitting there and I'm not in pain, physical pain, or I'm not in mental pain, being like brain fog, or my stomach's kind of churning, or I'm looking at the food and I'm going, I can't have anything here. And now what? I'm starving, or should I just eat something because I'm so hungry, or I didn't communicate to them appropriately, felt that I was going to be a burden. You still got to have fun, okay? Have some water balloon fights, laugh a little bit, tell some jokes. You don't have to be like crazy active in like flag football type thing, but enjoy it, okay? Be creative about the whole situation. Have a positive outlook towards it. I know people say that all the time, but even if you're going through a depressive time, just think of one thing that you can be so incredibly grateful for, like if you're celebrating Independence Day, the freedom in our country. So I hope those tips did help you. And if you have any questions or concerns, or you're like, Vennessa, what do I do in this situation? Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here. I'm your autoimmune coach for all the in-between moments that the doctors can't help with. And it's all about our lifestyle and how we live it and how we manage it. So we can only learn from our own experiences or from the help of others, and I'm here to help you in all of that. All right, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.